This is a true story that happened to me when I was 11 years old. I lived just up the hill, roughly 10 minutes away from my best friend's house. One night, after playing Ding Dong Ditch, I took the truck home up that hill. Then I heard it. What sounded like rhythmic footsteps in the distance behind me. Not quite echoing my own, I glanced back. A tall, shadowy figure, carrying what looked to be a hefty wrench, is behind me. Construction worker, I told myself, trying to calm my pounding heart. I sped up. He did too. At the top of the hill, I glanced back, panic setting in. His face was twisted with something not quite anger, or like predatory focus. No more pretending. I broke into a full sprint. The footsteps pounded a ladder. With a scream, I burst into an alley between two houses, stumbling into a dark window well. Relief should have flooded me, but when I turned to look, the shadowy figure appeared at the top of the hill. He knew where I went, I thought, maybe even where I lived. I sat there in the window well, trembling, as the man looked around, beating the wrench across his palm. I sat there for what felt like an hour before the man moved on with his search. After waiting a few minutes, I snuck out towards the street, searching for any signs of the man. I could see my house in the distance and decided to make the sprint. My heart was pounding. The man could jump out at any moment and catch me. I got to the door and rushed into my house, locking the door with trembling fingers. For nights after, even my own shadow under a street lamp or the footsteps on pavement would turn my blood to ice. The wrench and its owner were still out there, a silent threat always a few steps behind. Okay, so this is going to be somewhat short, but still creepy as hell, nonetheless, story. Some of the details may be irrelevant to the story, but I wanted to really share everything about the night. A few months ago, I want to say around the end of February, beginning of March, me and a group of friends were going around a few neighborhoods, ding-dong ditching / ringing and running, whatever you call it. You know how the game goes. Ring someone's doorbell and run like hell. Then, when they go back inside, you repeat, then move on to the next house. Anyway, we were working this one neighborhood called Fox Chase. Fox Chase is on one of the wealthiest neighborhoods in the area. I never really went into Fox Chase very often because I don't hang out with any of the kids who live there. I don't really hang out with the kids I was with that night either, but they were friends of my friend, who we will call S for the story. The only reason I was invited out for that night was on behalf of my friend S. Anyway, we ended up ringing the doorbells of a few girls we knew from school and running around for a little while. I was having fun, but I guess the other kids were looking for more of a thrill. Mind you, the kids I was with are the party types, the ones who like to get drunk and do crazy shit, and I'm kind of quiet and low-key. So I was content with the fact that we were just being creepy and not really pissing anybody off to the point where the police were called. By now, they wanted to go to a different neighborhood, so I just followed them along to where we parked the car. I hopped inside and we drove off. Deer Harbor is the next move, my friend S said. I was excited because I knew Deer Harbor like the back of my hand, way better than the other kids did. So if we got in any trouble, I knew where to run and hide. We parked the car at my house and walked in the neighborhood. The neighborhood is right down the street anyway. Deer Harbor is practically a forest with some roads and houses in it. There are so many overhanging trees, so at nighttime, it's almost pitch black there. We went along the neighborhood's main road and got some houses, basically doing the same things we were doing in the previous neighborhood, only now it was a little more fun due to the sheer spookiness of the place. Then we came up to this one house. It was an average-sized 2-story home, just like most of the houses in this neighborhood. All the lights in the house were off, except for the one downstairs. The lit room looked to be some sort of study or small library, and in the corner of the room was a man sitting at a chair, reading something. His back was faced to us, so all we could see was the chair and his head. Nothing really out of the ordinary, but it was still just spooky looking for some reason. One of the kids we were with decided it would be funny to throw rocks at this dude's house, so that's what he did. But what was weird was the man didn't turn around at all. They threw more than one rock as well, and they were decent size, so there's no way he wouldn't have heard them, unless he was hard of hearing or something. Me and one of the other kids mustered up enough courage to walk up to the window and bang on it and run off. I slammed on the window with my palm and surprised it didn't break. Then I ran off and hid behind the red Suburban that was parked in the driveway. I called out to the guys who were standing in the street. "Is he looking yet?" I asked. They said no. "Man, fuck it," I shouted as I got up and walked down the driveway and back to the kids on the street. We went on our own way to go find another house to mess with. We got maybe a quarter mile up the road around a big curve when we saw headlights between the trees. We booked it up into people's backyards and under cars. As the car passed, by where some of us were hiding, we realized that it was the red Suburban from the house. Before, I was sure of it because it had the same rims as the one in the driveway, and I recognized some of the numbers off the license plate. After it passed, we made our way to the end of the neighborhood to find some other houses to get. Nobody seemed to care about the Suburban really except me. I kind of wanted to stop because I really didn't want him to catch us. I really didn't want to get any trouble with anyone, but I kept going anyway. We exited Deer Harbor through the back entrance and started walking on this long road, then up the driveway to the next house we wanted to get. Some of us noticed headlights at the end of this long road, but we really didn't pay any attention now. It had only been about 10 seconds, and the lights had made it from one end of the road to now about 2 houses away from where we were. The road has got to be a mile long on its own, so there's no way this could happen. At least I don't think. A car must be doing some serious speed cover to cover a mile in 10 seconds. Anyway, we paused in the middle of this person's driveway, staring at the car as it passed us. It was the red Suburban. There was a sigh of relief from all of us as it passed by, but then it stopped. Without hesitation, we booked it back to the woods. Behind me, I could hear tires squealing as if they were making a sharp turn, and then the engine roar. I didn't look back. I just ran into the woods. We lost them. Eventually, we came out of the woods and back into the streets of Deer Harbor. We decided just to head home at this point. It was starting to get late anyway. No more houses on the way back, just a long walk home. What happened on the way back is really what scared us. As we were walking back to the front of the neighborhood, a car came up the street. We ran into trees and bushes and waited for the car to pass. It didn't pass though, it just sat there with its high beams on. We thought for sure it was a Suburban, but it was really dark to tell. It sat there for about 3 to 4 minutes before it passed. Once it passed, I got a look at the taillights. Was it the Suburban? We all whispered, "Oh shit," in unison when we realized what kind of car it was. We saw the taillights of a Dodge Charger. And if you guys don't know, like I know, a Dodge Charger usually means a sheriff has been called. It could have been just anybody in that car, not even the police, but it was most likely the police. I mean, come on. At this point, we were really on the move back to my house so everyone could leave. Full-on sprint. We realized once we got to the big curve in the road that we were back near the Suburban guy's house. When we passed by, he was still sitting in the same spot in the same chair, but the Suburban wasn't parked in the driveway anymore. It was weird, but we didn't have time to talk about it, so we've just kept running. Maybe his wife or someone took the car out and went after us, I thought. Now that I think about it, I never really noticed who was driving the car all those times when it passed us. Still running like hell. We're almost to the neighborhood entrance. We noticed headlights coming up on us from behind, quickly, like they were looking to run us over. We scattered, but one of the kids wasn't so lucky. We'll call him A. A ended up being clipped by the car's front bumper. The car slammed on its brakes. Nobody got out. It just sat there. We all just stopped and stared in disbelief. We realized we had to go help A, so we crossed the road in front of the car's headlights and went to see if he was okay. He was fine, just shocked and bruised up pretty badly on his leg. By then, all of us were enraged. We turned around and went back to the car that was just still sitting there in the middle of the road. We were banging on the windows and doors and yelling, "Get out, you fucking asshole," one of the kids shouted. But then I knew we were going to fuck this guy up. It was about 7 of us and 1 of him, we thought. Me and S go to the driver's side door and try to open it. To our surprise, it was unlocked. We both reach into the dark vehicle, hoping to grab onto the guy and pull him out and proceed to beat him up. But nothing. Absolutely fucking nothing. I just felt an empty seat. I turned on the interior light inside the car to find that there was really nobody in that car. We all opened the other doors to see if they were hiding in the back seat or something, but no. There wasn't anybody in the car. We all backed away in disbelief. Did he, leave while we weren't looking or something? One of the kids asked, but none of us heard a car door open or shut or anything. A few of us went near the woods and trees to see if he was maybe there, but he wasn't. We used our cell phone lights as flashlights too to see even farther, but again, he wasn't there. Other kids were on the other side of the street making sure A was alright, while me and S were on our way over there. The car light was still on and the door was still wide open. Right as S and I were about to pass in front of the car, it sped off, interior lights still on and doors still wide open. Where was he? Did he get back in the car? S frantically asked me. No, I said it just sped off. I mean, it really did, as if it were controlled by a remote or something. We wanted to run, but we couldn't because we didn't want to leave A behind. All he could do was sort of limp/jog. Right now, we were fucking terrified that the car's going to come back, but it never did. Neither did the police car. We made it back to my house where they all got back into their car. S told me that they were going to report it to the police as like a hit and run or something, but then we decided to just let it go because if we got the police involved, then our parents would be involved and it would turn into a big mess that we didn't want to get involved in. A agreed that he would just tell his parents that he got hurt playing football or something, and we would leave it at that. We all agreed not to really talk about it anymore, but I couldn't help but to share it with you.